I have been testing out 14 different Korean and Japanese sunscreens for you all, and in today's video, I'm going to be ranking them. No matter what you need, if you have very sensitive skin, if you need something without a white cast, if you want something very weightless, or you need something hydrating, I have the perfect sunscreen for you in today's video. Before you go out and buy a bunch of different sunscreens, I highly recommend you watch. YesStyle is also sponsoring today's video. They did give me a discount code for you guys, so I'm going to leave that down below. It's only available for like 72 hours, I believe. And right now, this first week of April, YesStyle has a ton of items half off. So it is a great time to stock up on some favorites, on some sunscreen, or try out some new items. Which, by the way, everything that I have on my face today as far as makeup is from YesStyle. So if you're not already subscribed and you love Asian beauty, Asian skincare, definitely subscribe because you're in the right place. I am doing a personal ranking system, but I have to let you guys know that kind of within like the 4 to 8 range, I just really like a lot of those sunscreens, and those rankings are kind of blurred. Like, I just enjoy them. In my number 1 ranking spot is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel SPF 50 PA++++. This sunscreen is packed with hyaluronic acid, ceramides as well, and it retails for around $15. One thing that you will notice about every single one of these sunscreens is that none of them are over $20. These are all affordable. Great UVA and UV protection on this sunscreen. And the reason I want to give this one my top recommendation is it is soothing while being lightweight. It is hydrating. It has this light lotion texture to it that I think makes this easily replaceable for a moisturizer in a lot of folks' routines. So this, I think, also simplifies a routine and makes you more likely to put on your SPF. It does not feel like you're applying sunscreen within the smell, within the texture. The finish is glowy, but then it eventually sets down to more of a slightly dewy look. No white cast to this. There's no, again, offensive kind of sunscreen smell. To me, if you have oily or combination skin, I can very easily see this making its way into your skincare cabinet as your everyday moisturizer with SPF 50. It is beautifully hydrating, it's very calming on the skin, no irritation around the eyes as well, which you will come to find as we get through the video. I have very sensitive eyes. I have found a lot of sunscreens not only get in my eyes and irritate them, a lot of sunscreens actually give me a headache because once that irritation starts happening, for whatever reason, I start getting a headache. It is one of the most uncomfortable feelings. So any of the sunscreens I recommend and I love do not give me that feeling. If you have normal to dry skin, this is also just going to be really skin loving. It doesn't cling onto dryness. It doesn't exaggerate texture. I think this is an all-time favorite of a lot of folks for good reason. If you do want a very matte finish, I wouldn't go with this one, but I think that as an overall skincare product, a product that is beautiful for every day, this is my top recommendation. I just absolutely love it. There are a couple that I actually very well could have been in the number 1 spot. They tend to go in and out of stock very easily, so I'm going to leave those till the end of the video if you guys are curious, so make sure to stick till the end. But this one is nearly always in stock, which I think is really, really important when it comes to your daily sunscreen. In my number 2 spot, I have the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun Rice Sunscreen. This is SPF 50 PA++++. I love this sunscreen for a lot of the similar reasons that I love the Isntree. It's around the same price as the Isntree. It is from Korea. By the way, Beauty of Joseon does have a new Aqua version of this sunscreen. That is specifically made for the US market. I have not tried that one, but I'm just going to get it out in the air right now. Korean formulated sunscreens will always be my favorite. I think that they're better, have better filters than here in the United States. They're less irritating, they are more advanced. I just recommend getting the OG from YesStyle. There is rice extract in here, so there's probiotics that are really good for the skin and maintaining resilience. Niacinamide, and this in general is more of a medium weight lotion, but oddly enough, I find the Isntree to be slightly more glowy than the Beauty of Joseon, but the Beauty of Joseon has a slightly richer texture. Something that is important to note is that just because a sunscreen goes on glowy, it will set down. You should always give your sunscreen about like 15 minutes to set down on the skin to get like the true finish. This, I think, is slightly more skin-like as far as the finish goes. It doesn't leave a super dewy finish on my skin, and yet again, it feels like that last step of a skincare routine, that moisturizer feel, and it lays beautifully under makeup. It's creamy but absorbs really quickly, so that's what I really enjoy about it. There's kind of a relief when it goes onto the skin. It's super solid and dependable. There is no white cast to this either. I think that this is a fan favorite here in the United States for good reason. And if you have been looking at it, I don't think that you can go wrong. It is really beautiful. Again, I would just personally go with the original formula. Now, for those of you with oily skin, listen up. I think you're going to love this sunscreen. And ironically, I cannot find the tube anywhere, but somehow I still have the box, but I don't have the tube. The Numbuzin #1 Clear Filter SPF 50. I have realized that typically sunscreens with Juvenile A+ as a filter get along really well with me. I tolerate them very well. They tend to also not give a white cast. Tinosorb S is another one, and these, again, they're filters that are not approved here in the United States. But this one has licorice root water, so really good for brightening. 15% Centella Asiatica, so great for calming the skin. I mean, you cannot find sunscreens like this here in the United States. Numbuzin is a Korean brand. They're definitely newer to me, and I've just been loving these products. And the sunscreen is an absolute standout for me. Very lightweight and has a very skin-like texture to it without it being an overly mattifying or drying sunscreen. So if you have more oily skin but you don't want like a full-on mattifying sunscreen, I think that this is going to be one that you'll enjoy. It's kind of refreshing on the skin in this like very lightweight lotion way. Absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend that one. And I think that for folks, again, that have more oily skin, but you don't want kind of a denatured alcohol heavy sunscreen that then mattifies the skin and it doesn't like really hydrate and moisturize my skin, but it doesn't dry it out either. Now that we're kind of getting into the middle of the group, again, you guys are gonna start to realize that these are the sunscreens that I absolutely love. And again, the ranking system's a little bit wobbly here just because it's hard to pick like the difference between 4 and 5 when I kind of like 4 and 5 equally, or, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, the next one that I wanted to mention is the Haruharu Wonder Black Rice Moisture Airyfit Daily SPF. This is SPF 50 PA+++++. This says right on the front, non-greasy velvet finish. Definitely true. If you are a fan of something with that kind of velvety look, it's not like a smoothing, blurring silicone kind of thing, but just like a velvety finish, looks really nice under makeup. It's not going to add a lot of glow, dewiness, greasiness at all. You will love this one. I love it, and I think Haruharu Wonder has done an incredible job with this one. It's also around $12. So again, I'm leaving links down below to everything, but the fact that you can get this for like $12, it just boggles my mind. This is another sunscreen with Juvenile A+, one of my favorite SPF filters. This has ceramide NP. It also has black rice extract. So black rice extract has, according to Haruharu Wonder, it has even more antioxidant protection than like your typical rice extract. And then ceramides in general help to repair the skin. It's kind of like the building blocks to make sure that our skin barrier is protected. And I see like combination skin really getting into this one. Same thing with oily skin. Could also skip your moisturizer and just use this and you would get more of like a matte finish. So there are ways around this. Like for example, if you have oily skin, like there's probably a chance that you're gonna get along better with the Haruharu Wonder or the Numbuzin. But the reason I wanted to recommend this one in the #1 spot is because it's so multifunctional, really calming, and for me personally, with my skin type, it just gets along so well with my skin. But anyway, there's no weird smell to this either. Specifically, I get a lot of questions about how to prep your skin for makeup. One of my favorite ways to prep the skin for makeup, and the real game changer, is just finding a sunscreen that looks gorgeous under makeup. And this is a sunscreen that looks gorgeous under makeup. Highly recommend this one. It's gonna be exciting when we get in like later into the video for the sunscreens I really don't like. Next up, we have the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Tea SPF 50. It's the Tea Tricka, actually. It's their Soothing Sun Milk. And again, it definitely has this beautiful milky texture. And there are some milky textures out there that I find very drying. This is not one of them at all. It does take, I think, a second to set down on the skin, and it will like kind of go a little bit tacky, but once it's set in, it is delightful. There is Centella asiatica in here. There is tea tree leaf water, niacinamides, ceramides. It is completely fragrance-free, very soothing on the skin, and under $10. It's crazy. Again, because of the lightweight texture, it just feels very weightless. Once it's actually on the skin, it looks really beautiful under makeup. Think whether or not you go with something like the Tea Tricka Sun Milk versus like, I don't know, let's say the Haruharu Wonder. This has a thicker texture but a matter finish. This has a thinner texture but a touch more radiance. It's not radiant, but it just, it reflects a little bit more on the skin. But I think just for every day, for that really thin on the skin SPF, really quick to apply as well, this is one of the most quick. No white cast on the skin. And I find that especially if I'm layering on a lot of skincare, that kind of pilling that happens with SPFs, this, when you have an SPF that is very thin on the skin, it kind of takes that fear out of the equation. When an SPF gets kind of thicker, you sometimes worry that that's what's going to happen, especially if you're mixing a lot of different moisturizers and serums together. This is just so thin that you don't even have to worry about that. I mean, most of these you don't have to worry about that, obviously, because for me, like pilling an SPF, that's a deal breaker, I think, for me, as well as like the stinging around the eyes, but we'll get into some of those in a second. Next, we have the Round Lab Birch Juice SPF 50, and this is, again, PA++++. Hyaluronic acid in here, birch juice. She's sitting with the birch tree, I believe. There is no sticky finish to this sunscreen, but the texture, again, it's slightly thicker. So it goes on kind of like a creamy lotion. No weird like fragrance or anything. It does like slightly smell like a sunscreen, but very slightly. Then you just spread it on, 0 white cast, and then it eventually sets down to more of a skin-like finish, not overly glowy. But again, it does have a touch of an SPF smell. It's so barely there, but I did think it was worth noting. That's why I deducted like a little, kind of like a half a star or whatever for that. But it is really a great one. This has a lot in common with something like the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen, except for me, the Beauty of Joseon just literally doesn't smell like anything. So that's why I would prefer this to the Round Lab. But again, really what we're looking for is a sunscreen that just melts onto the skin. That especially makes a sunscreen nice for reapplication. You don't want a sunscreen that's really thick and heavy and gloopy on the skin. We'll get into some of those in a second. We have talked about essentially my top recommendations of the video, except for the 2 at the very end, which are like almost always out of stock. But these are like the top recommendations. I'm gonna give you guys like a quick, like another breakdown just because I feel like it's really helpful for you guys. So my number one spot is the Isntree, great for normal to dry skin if you want more of a glowy finish. But I think that combo and oily folks could skip their moisturizer and use this. I think the same thing actually goes for the Beauty of Joseon. Thicker texture, but slightly less dewy on the skin. This also has probiotics in it, so very soothing on the skin, no white cast. You could skip moisturizer for combo to oily skin, or if you're dry like I am, this is just going to work really beautifully and really soothe the skin. Oh god, I'm forgetting my order, but I'm just gonna keep rolling. The Numbuzin clear filter, I think, is geared more towards oily and combination skin, and yet I really love it. You know, there are folks that they're like, I want the thinnest SPF, but those often come with those drawbacks of, again, a lot of denatured alcohol, fragrance. Sometimes it mattifies the heck out of the skin and eventually kind of dries your skin out. This one will not do that. I just think it is an all-around amazing sunscreen, just going to get along with so many different folks. I am putting a bunch of the Haruharu Wonder Black Rice on my hands right now because this is the next one I would recommend for those of you that want a really velvety finish. This has a thicker texture, but then it goes down to that velvet kind of primer finish. So don't be afraid of that. It is going to dry down. The texture that you're getting right out of the tube isn't necessarily the finish that you're going to get at the end of application. I love that one. Haruharu Wonder just nailed it. I think it is one of the best because it just doesn't smell weird, no white cast. Also absolutely love the Centella Tea Tricka Sun Milk. Like this because it's just so milky thin, really easy to apply, and looks just beautiful under makeup. And then lastly, I would go with the Round Lab. Next up, we're gonna get into a sunscreen that I like, just not quite my favorite anymore. So it's the Canmake Mermaid Skin Gel UV SPF 50 PA++++. Now this is from Japan. This is one of those sunscreens, I've used it for a very long time, probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. This does have some physical filters. I have a feeling that there's a chance this could cause a white cast on some people. I don't have that experience, but I have a feeling that that could be that there's some sort of white cast reflection happening as well. It's good, but there are some that I like even more now. I will continue to use it though. And again, it's like when you look at, it's like I've been so spoiled by all of the amazing sunscreens that now I can be like so picky, but I would take this any day over going to the drugstore and using the sunscreens there. This is just how passionate I am about Japanese, Korean, Asian sunscreens in general. Again, in the world of like me being very spoiled by these beautiful sunscreens, this isn't the absolute favorite, but still so good. Keeping on that theme, these are some of the sunscreens ranked at the bottom because I just don't like them. None of these sunscreens unfortunately worked for me. This one, the TOCOBO Bio Watery Sun Cream SPF 50. This also has 4 pluses. There's mung bean extract in here, which has really kind of popped off over the past couple of years. Hyaluronic acid, it's around like $12. So another thing that I immediately loved about it when I started trying it is how thin it is. It's really just kind of melts right on the skin. The big no-no for me is that, one, this smells like dandelions, like straight dandelions. And even smelling it, something starts happening with my eyes when I get my eyes close to this sunscreen, burns my skin, and it just makes my eyes water like no other. I have to kind of immediately take this off. I don't know what it is, but you guys know I've talked about it. That's a big no-go for me. So I won't be wearing this anymore on my face. I'll probably use it for like my my chest area and down, but I don't even want to like necessarily smell that because again, something about it just makes my eyes water. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I really do like the texture, but I would say if you're a fan of this texture, you're probably better off, in my opinion, just going with the Madagascar Centella Tea Tree. And by the way, good to note is that even though the bottles are different, like these have the same amount of sunscreen in them. So most of these sunscreens have like 1.69 ounces in here. It does vary a little bit. Now, this is one I was so excited to try because I've heard people love this for dry skin. And it's called the Water Barrier Cream, which I really liked. That this just felt like it was going to be that really soothing sunscreen that my dry skin was going to love this summer. Now, spoiler alert, it is not. This is the P.CALM Water Barrier Sun Cream SPF 50 PA++++. Korean sunscreen that has niacinamide, ceramide NP. It also has aloe. And again, it's good for like barrier protection. It's very soothing on the skin. It's creamy and thick, so it's good for more dry skin, but it just burned the heck out of my eyes. It retails for around 13 bucks, which again is great. Oh, I also liked it. It has glutathione in here. It has that very strong kind of sunscreen smell. And I think that's part of, when a sunscreen has a scent to it, that's when my eyes typically start to water. And then I start to get a headache as well. Fortunately, this was not one that I would recommend. I did not have great luck with it. Now, the Director's Sun Cream from Etude House, SPF 50 PA++++. This essentially is like similar vibes to the P.CALM. Like it was kind of going to be in that realm of like really good for dry skin, really soothing. I'm pretty sure that this has, yeah, like Centella Asiatica. It also has panthenol. It's around 15 bucks. It's vegan, hypoallergenic, and it's said to have more of a slightly matte finish. I do think that this like dries down a little bit. It is a no-go for me. Again, it immediately has that smell that starts to make my eyes water. The finish is nice. There's no like white cast or anything, but it just made my eyes start to burn. I didn't feel necessarily a burning sensation on my face, but it started to like, give me that like allergic feeling in my nose and on my eyes. So the last one that did not work out for me, these all have the same smell. I might have to look into the filters if there's any filter similarities in here. The Anua Heartleaf Silky Moisture Sunscreen SPF 50 has that same smell that those do too. It's that really strong kind of sunscreen smell and that similar texture as well. And this one, I actually found it to be really glidey on the skin. It has a really nice spread. And I've heard really good things about Anua in general, especially their Heartleaf line. So I was really excited to try this one. Gave me a headache, gave me the weird eye thing. So these are the ones that did not work out for me, these 4 sunscreens. But before we close out the video and I just talk about, in general, SPF related news, I wanted to give a brief shout out to 2 of my holy grail sunscreens that they go out of stock so frequently that I always like to have other sunscreens on hand because these become more difficult to find. You guys, I have probably gone through, I don't even know how many tubes I've gone through of this. I'm gonna say like 15. If that. I mean, I go through multiple every single year, and it is the Kiss Me Mommy SPF 50. I've talked about this on my channel since I think like almost the beginning days of my channel. Like it has at least been like 6 years. This is just some of the ones that I have in my house. I have them everywhere. I obviously stock up because it is so difficult to find. It really gets on my nerves. But this is from ISEHAN. The reason, and also I have tried the mild gel version. This is SPF 33, so it's less than the SPF 50, but I love both. This is still newer to me, but I love it for all of the reasons that I love the Kiss Me Mommy UV Milk. This is just a gel version of it, and this is just more of a milky kind of lotion product. So Juvenile A+ is in both of these. Again, I just love that filter. There is jojoba oil in here, ceramides. It's like cranberry seed oil or something. These are not greasy. These are not heavy at all, but it just gives absolutely no white cast. It's so milky and seamless on the skin. I could literally spread this all over my face, into my eyes, no stinging, no weird smell. Always looks good under makeup, will not pill if I put on a ton of it. Both always around like $16, $17. And they are alcohol and fragrance free, which is huge for me. ISEHAN is a Japanese brand. I have tried other ISEHAN sunscreens with varying success. These are the MVPs. I get comments from you guys still saying like, I tried the Kiss Me Mommy. I know why you love it now. It is just, it's so good. It really truly has my heart and will always be a holy grail. It just is so unfortunate that it's always out of stock. Also, these are waterproof, so that is a huge plus for them as well. So absolutely beautiful. And make sure you are subscribed to my channel, because whenever these come in stock, I always notify you guys. All of the other sunscreens that I love, I use all the time, and they're great as well. I also wanted to mention to you guys that there are some regulations that have started to make it harder to get certain SPFs here in the States. Because the FDA hasn't approved some UV filters here in the United States, they're passing more regulations so that we can't get them here. You can still get these sunscreens on YesStyle right now. It is unclear how long we will be able to. It's just kind of an unknown right now. I will say this though, very honestly, I am stocking up on my sunscreens that I love because they are the best, and it's not a fun idea that I wouldn't be able to get them. So take with that what you will. That is just my personal take. I am going to be buying and purchasing the sunscreens that I know I love, that don't irritate my eyes, that don't break me out. It's very hard to find those when I just walk into a drugstore here in the States. I almost always am using an Asian sunscreen every day. So I hope that you guys found the video helpful. If you have questions still about any of these sunscreens, please leave me a comment down below. Like if you have specific needs, I'm always happy to help you guys figure out what is going to work best for you. I do have that 15% off coupon for YesStyle that I will leave down below for you guys. They are having their 50% off sale. So thank you guys as always for being here, and I will see you in my next one.